Welcome to Real Sense Now. Let me tell you, I think this may be the most exciting show I've ever done. Why? Because you're listening to the #1 podcast and radio show right here on Florida Man Radio, where we cover all things real estate, wealth creation, and so much more. You're tuned in to Real Sense Now, your go-to destination for all things real estate, your go-to place for insightful discussions with extraordinary people, where we dive into the minds that are shaping our world today. And of course, I couldn't think of a better guest that made this all possible. My guest was the guy who I owe my path in radio broadcasting and, of course, the inception of creating this podcast. He showed me the ropes and has allowed me to believe I actually have a voice that the world needs to hear. And on that note, I am welcome to honor legal virtuoso, rising star in the legal cosmos, or cosmos.
I don't know.
Wrong. It doesn't matter.
I really don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if it's cosmos. I don't know. I'm not sure the right answer.
Potato, tomato, who cares?
I'm stepping on your toes already. I know.
Okay. He's a beacon of hope for all those navigating through the labyrinth of legal battles. But wait, there's more. It's not all he does. I'm joined by Justin Clark, the host of Behind the Law, You Have Real Estate, which I've been on several times. And of course, the fun and the entertaining show, The Best of Central Florida with Michaela Nichols. There's so much more to Justin's story, but please join me in extending a warm welcome to the one and only Justin Clark.
I don't deserve any of that, but I'm so nervous, to be honest with you. Because we've been talking for the last 2 hours about me stepping on your toes, because you used to come on my shows.
Yes.
We did my TV show earlier today together. And so I'm like so cognizant if I'm on someone else's show to not step on their toes. And so I don't know. I don't know what to do right now. I'm confused. First of all, #1, yes. I'm very happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you.
We've been texting back and forth for, I don't know, a year, Paola? A year?
And apparently in your phone, I'm supposed to be what?
So my girl, so if you call Michaela, my girlfriend, if you call her phone, it shows up as Justin's best friend. If Dawood calls her phone, it shows up as Justin's best friend. I haven't seen you in 6 months, 9 months, and it is kind of ridiculous. And I do take some of the blame.
And you know what? I don't think we should be best friends anymore. I mean, I owe all of this to you, but maybe you can make this up to me.
We'll try. I'm going to try by not stepping on your toes, #1.
That's fine.
All right.
So let's get to
I'm nervous
regular
about that.
programming.
All right,
and let me start asking you interesting questions. Please give me some insight.
Are we going to talk about real estate, or let's talk about me and you for a minute?
Okay.
Let's talk
Whatever
about
you
me
want
and
to talk about.
#1, I don't think people understand how dialed in you are to the real estate community in Central Florida. When I meet someone interested in real estate, I immediately will send an email to you and them and try to connect you, like that Chad guy the other day.
I appreciate that.
Because you're so dialed in. There are real estate agents, right? They're like, oh, we're going to sell a house. I specialize in 32828 East Orlando. Then there are agents who are just...
I don't think that's East Orlando, by the way.
Yes, it is. 32828.
28. I thought you said 08.
32828.
Wrong zip code.
Waterford Lakes. I don't live in Waterford Lakes. I just know that. Then there are people like you who are just dialed in to what real estate really is and the international flavor as well. And I think that's what I appreciate you the most, like professionally. You're so dialed into that international market and so dialed into the relationships that real estate require. That when I think about you as a person, more than that. When I think about you as a real estate guy, that's what I think of.
How do you not love this guy? I'm so blessed that you're in my life because you just make me feel better every single day.
I'm not trying to.
I'm telling you that you are.
I love Paola, who's here.
Yes.
I mean, I do think it sucks that we haven't hung out much. And she talks to Michaela all the time, too, and we still haven't connected dinner. But I'm just telling you what I see when I think of you in the real estate world. I think that you transcend the regular real estate agent. You are something above that. I think when we did the TV show today, I was saying there's sort of a direct connect between the Orlando real estate market internationally, almost like internationally direct to even Toronto, which is an amazing real estate market. You're that guy. You are that connection.
I think thanks to you, you were the one that coined what was that tagline that you always
I have no idea. I forgot.
Realtor to the stars. Or,
Realtor to the stars.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what it was.
Real estate agent to the stars.
Okay. And you know what? I feel the same way about you because
Yeah.
I don't think you're just an attorney. I think you're so much more than that. But for the audience that doesn't know who you are, what inspired you to pursue a career in law, particularly focusing on the areas that you did?
So that was a scripted question, I feel like, and I don't want to script any questions here. I'll tell you, because I have to be honest. If you ask me a question, I got to be honest. The only and I was talking to Carlos a minute ago about this. I told him straight up. I went into law. I went to law school for one reason and one reason alone, because I was poor. I grew up poor. My family had no money.
You can't get a more honest answer than that, ladies and gentlemen.
I was poor. My father left us when I was 13. I have two little brothers who I love to death more than anything in the world still to this day. And he just decided when I was 13, my brothers were, I think, 8 and 7 at the time. We lived in Tennessee. He wanted to move to Florida. He's like, I'm going to divorce your mother and move to Florida. I was like, oh, what a great idea. My mom made $30,000 a year, $25,000 a year, and was raising 3 boys. And he was paid like, I don't know, $100 a month in child support or something like that. And yeah, we didn't talk for quite a while, as you can imagine. I had no passion about law. I didn't grow up wanting to be a lawyer. My dad, he hated lawyers. Everyone hated lawyers, in Tennessee. And I was in college, University of Tennessee, broadcasting major, and I was like,
how do you go from broadcasting to law?
I'm going to tell you. I'm sitting out there, my buddy, Chad Richmond, we were playing beer pong. He's like, well, like really playing beer pong at the time. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. What do you want to do? He's like, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to go to law school. And I literally went to law school to not be poor. And I know this is a horrible story about lawyers, and I'm sure there are some lawyers out there who are good, who are like, I want to save the world or whatever, but I did it solely to not be poor. So I knew that I could change the trajectory of my family. And I also think that's why I left Tennessee and went to Boston, because I grew up in a family who had been in Tennessee for, I don't know, 100 generations. You know what I mean? And I wanted my family to see something different. And that's why I went to law school. And that's why I did it in Boston, too. They're like, oh, you want to go to law school in Memphis? Nashville? I was like, no, I'm going to go to the most opposite place you could ever imagine going. And going from Tennessee to Boston, Massachusetts it's the biggest transition you can imagine.
I got to tell you one thing. If there's one thing I admire about you is you have this uncanny ability to say, I'm going to make a decision. I'm just going to go with it. Because once you graduated, you wrote the Massachusetts bar and the Florida bar. And what did you decide to do?
Well, number one, I'm stupid. I'm not that smart. So, but I guess I can like take tests or something. I don't know. I'm not an intelligent guy. I'm really not. But I went to law school in Massachusetts. So I just figured, you know what? I'll practice law in Boston the rest of my life and stay up here. But I was like, it is cold. It's cold. So I figured out a little gimmick where I could take the Massachusetts bar exam and Florida bar exams at the same time, and flew back and forth those 3 days between Tampa and Boston, and like somehow passed both. And I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, I'm an idiot. I really am not smart, but it just like, I guess got lucky or whatever. So passed both, but I still, practiced law in Boston for a few years. And then it was April and snowing, and I literally just packed up my Jeep Cherokee, Charlestown, Massachusetts, packed it up. I said, I'm moving to South Beach. And I did.
Straight, huh?
I didn't know one person. I didn't know a single
Have you ever been to South Beach prior to that?
Probably not. I don't think so. No. Never. I'd never been to South Beach. And I was like, but it seems awesome. And that's where I'm going.
And then what happened when you got there?
Well, so I got there. I already had a job lined up. Worked for a guy, amazing guy, William E. Gregory. And I just had the best time ever. I don't know. I mean, I had a wonderful time, but I worked hard. Like,
you were like the most dedicated lawyer in probably all of South Beach.
I was. So I was 25, 26 at the time. And his name is Bill Gregory. In fact, I haven't seen him in years. I'm seeing him in like 2 weeks. I can't wait for it. Just the one of the best guys, my mentor. Probably not a great business person, a great person.
Hopefully he doesn't hear this show.
No, he can hear it. He knows.
Okay,
Like, he's not a great business person. He's a great person. And that in the practice of law, it's not that easy to find. And I appreciated finding a great person in that business. But I also found myself when I remember we had a Hurricane Wilma come through. This had to be 2005. Devastated the office. I'm 26, living in South Beach, right? You would think I'd be like, okay, great, week off, because the office was shut down. The office got flooded.
I love this story, by the way. I was going to actually ask you about the story. I'm so glad.
You the story?
Yeah, I'm so glad you're sharing it.
And then, so every single day, no matter what, I went to the office at 8 a.m. I wasn't even required to be there till 9. And meanwhile, we're shut down. I wasn't required to be there at all. I went there with buckets every day and just started throwing stuff out of there. And at this time, not everyone had Wi-Fi on their phones and things. I would go to what did you call the little
internet cafe?
Yeah. And start emailing.
There was probably one on Washington and like 17th or 15th.
I lived on Lincoln Road, the very end of Lincoln Road, and there was an internet cafe right there. And I would email all of our clients, constantly updating on what's going on. And I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was as a worker, as a business person, really, until then. And it's very challenging at times when you have that kind of instilled in you. And I think it's because I grew up poor, maybe with 2 little brothers, so I felt like I had to take care of. And it's frustrating when you're around people who don't have that sort of same mentality at times.
Yeah. So how do you make the transition from, actually, before we go there, tell me one of your favorite memories from South Beach, because I know that was the golden era of living there. It was around the same time that I used to go frequently, like a couple of times a month. I loved it. It's not the same place that it used to be.
South Beach was amazing, honestly, in 2006. It was incredible. And I didn't have, I wasn't making a lot of money. I wasn't, but I had enough money to live on. It was just a very safe, awesome place. But my best memory is, honestly, when the family would come down to visit. And I remember one specific time where a cousin named Micah, these Tennessee people, we're talking about people from Tennessee, but good people from Tennessee. And Micah came down to visit, and we go to what's that? It starts with an S. Hotel
Sagma?
Great restaurant. No, I'll think
Shore
about
Club?
it. Shore Club. Go to the Shore Club. And
the Shore Club, Nobu, right?
The Shore, no.
I think it was
Nobu.
Yeah,
the Shore
Nobu
Club
there.
was awesome back then. I don't know what it's like
the best
now.
Pool. The best pool.
It was great.
It's shut down. It's going to be a high-rise apartment building, probably the tallest in South.
And my mom was there. And Micah was very, is very pretty. She's watching, is still, but certainly then very pretty lady. And then you're in South Beach, people are feeding you drinks, that they just are. And she got hammered, and ended up like walking home or something. But we all felt safe about it. It was great. I remember the next day she wasn't feeling so well, and I think I was in a studio, and she was like staying on the couch, and I think might have like gotten sick in the bathroom or something like that. But South Beach was cool then. It was really
was incredible,
really cool.
But then you left South Beach.
Yeah. Well, against my will.
Really?
Number one. Yeah, Bill Gregory, the guy I work for. He says, "Hey, Justin," because again, I did work super hard. He's like, I want to open an office in Orlando. And again, this is me a year ago moving to Miami. I don't know one person in Florida, let alone one person in Miami. And now I'm getting comfortable here. I'm like, I like this South Beach. This South Beach thing is for me. And he's like, "Hey, Justin, I want to open an office in Orlando." And I'm like, "Who's gonna run it?" I don't know anything about Orlando. And man, but for the sake of not my business, then his business, my same Jeep Cherokee, I loaded some stuff up, kept my apartment in Miami, and I stayed here. And I think it's in Altamont Springs or something. I called it Altamonte because I didn't know any better. And stayed at one of these extended stay things with a little hot plate or whatever.
Oh God!
And I would kind of go back on the weekends at times and open the office here in Orlando, thinking that. And again, I don't know one person. I don't know one person in Orlando other than Mickey Mouse. I didn't know a soul here. And I don't know, man. Life is weird when you think back on it. How does it all work out? I don't know.
The incredible thing about being with you on the show is it's incredible how time flies when you're diving into the deep minds of remarkable people that have impacted my life, like yourself. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I want everybody to know Justin Clark is not going anywhere, because when we come back,
You get to do this stuff. I like it.
You like
This
it?
is your deal now. You got to do the tease, the whole
The
deal.
tease. Okay. When
All
we
right.
come back,
Yeah.
Justin Clark is going to be empowering us with the wisdom and the knowledge of what's going on in the real estate world. What are some key areas that we need to be looking at?
How much time do we have left, Carlos?
We have a lot of time.
Okay. So I didn't know if we already did because I wasn't looking for
No,
him.
no, he gave me the
you
1 minute already.
So you've already gotten the 1 minute.
Oh, we wrapped up.
All right.
We're technically
But
in
here's
break
the
right
here's
now.
the problem. Wait, we've already wrapped?
Yes, we've wrapped.
Oh my gosh. How
We'll
much
catch you
time
after
do
the
we
break.
have?
Don't worry, we'll catch you after the break. Ladies
See,
and
I'm
gentlemen,
confused now.
the disruptor, Justin Clark. We love having him on the show.
Damn it.
Justin, it's my show, not yours.
I know, but I wanted to know know when you're rapping.
Okay, we'll catch you after the break. Dawood Bedrosian, you're listening to Real Sense Now. Welcome back to Real Sense Now. It's your host, Dawood Bedrosian, the beacon of insight in the sea of noise. And of course, I couldn't have a better disruptor, and that's causing all the waves in the studio right here, than the one and only star of the Justin Clark show in the morning, Justin Clark.
I'm not disrupting anything. I'm just
You're
here.
the biggest disruptor.
I'm not. What am I disrupting?
Listen, we love you for being on the show, but we want to impact our listeners and audience.
All right, so
with
ask
some
me
good
something.
I'm going to.
All right, so ask me about real estate stuff.
Okay,
then. I'm not trying to
that's fine.
disrupt anything. I'm happy to hang out with you.
Justin, and back to me.
Okay.
Let's shift our focus to the recent developments in the real estate sector with what's going on with this whole NAR settlement and all of that good stuff. Go ahead, Justin.
No, the NAR settlement is incredibly annoying to me, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
The NAR settlement is so annoying to me because I never know if it's NAR or NAR. So I feel like they have to do a N period A period
I agree
R.
with you on that.
So that way we know whether we say NAR or NAR. Honestly, that's the most disruptive thing that's been to me, is I don't know what to call it.
So if we were to move along, what would you say are the highlights for our listeners for the main part of the settlement? What's this really all about? Why is it all over the news on every channel, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn? You keep hearing about articles about what's going on. Talk to me.
So I do not believe that. I believe this is going to change things, yes, but I do not think it's going to affect anyone's life. I think what's going to happen here, obviously, is that I think it's actually good for real estate agents in a lot of ways. I want to hear this. Let me tell you why. I believe it's going to allow buyers agents the ability to almost lock buyers in to using their services at whatever rate it may be. I think it's actually going to be good for real estate. I also think for real estate agents, it's going to be good because I think some people are going to be scared by this and get out of the business. There's always a cleaning house, almost in any profession.
It's purging almost, I like to call it.
I think that's a great word for it. And real estate especially always has purges. You think about the 2008 real estate collapse, purge. A lot of people purged out. And the good ones are going to figure it out. The good ones are going to take the time to figure it out. But I think for the actual consumer themselves, I think it changes nothing. I really don't, because I think that the value that real estate agents provide to this transaction is worth 5 or 6% no matter what. I think that if we're going to get to a place where we think that these people are going to do for sale by owners because of this, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
We've had the ability to do for sale by owner since God created this country.
And what happened?
They hire agents because they need agents. In fact, and Dawood, I'm going to turn it back over to you after this. This is going to create more of a need for the talent and the expertise of agents now than ever before, because there is going to be confusion, and the buyers and sellers, especially in the Florida market, are going to need a great agent more now than they ever have.
So, Justin, do our audience a favor. Can you just clarify the truth behind some of the misconceptions surrounding everything that's going on right now?
You mean with the NAR or NAR?
One of those.
All right. So
either one or the other.
Absolutely. So number one, it's you have to call it NAR, because I did this on the TV show. I was like, hey, it's NAR, right? And they're like, no, NAR. I was like, who really cares? But they're like, no, you have to be specific. It's the NAR settlement. So that's number one. Let's call it the NAR settlement. And number two, you have to keep in mind that this is I remember one time talking to my buddy, and he said, you know what we're going to do? We're suing Redbox, class action. I was like, why? Well, because Redbox didn't disclose that they were charging a 12% surcharge if you get it at the box, as opposed to go on direct to them. We're going to do a whole big class action. So you have to keep in mind, a lot of this is financially motivated. So everyone's like, we're doing this for the benefit of the consumer.
I don't think the consumer is really benefiting here. Besides, I don't know who's benefiting. Who's benefiting?
The consumer is benefiting, to me, in no real way possible. Right now, the consumer is being told that they're going to have like this negotiating power. And they're just not. At the end of the day, Dawood, if someone comes to you and you see these agents out there who are doing $3, $4, $5 million houses consistently throughout the year, 6% is the standard rate, right? 6%, that's the standard rate, the highest rate you can go. These guys who are doing 20 deals over $3 million a year, you know they've been negotiating their rates down this whole time, right? They're not charging 6%, are they?
Well, there's never actually been a agreed upon negotiated rate period from the NAR or anyone else. It's the negotiation that you do with your buyers, with your seller, in terms of what the rate is going to be. So this whole settlement, in my opinion, has gone from changing the word commission to compensation or concession. And I guess it kind of is all determined by what the seller or what the buyer is going to really want to do.
I don't think it changes anything. I think it's just more negotiation. I think it's all the more need to hire an agent who knows what the hell they're doing. I think you need an agent now more than ever. I'm serious.
So what do you think the implications are actually going to be in the real estate market for both the buyer and the seller? What's going to change?
Nothing.
I love it. Perfect.
Nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change. For the next 2 or 3 months, 4 months, whatever, there's going to be... So if you're an agent right now, whether you're listing or buyer, you need to be prepared to answer a million questions, okay? For the next 3 months, it's going to be annoying as crap because people are going to ask, well, I heard about this like settlement thing, and apparently like you can't charge these rates. There are going to be a lot of questions being asked. And that person who is going to ask all those questions... Maybe they're going to interview more agents now. I don't know. That's the only thing. But nothing is going to change in real estate. Nothing will change.
So did you read that article that came out pretty much yesterday? Zillow is offering a 7-day touring agreement for agents.
Yeah.
Which means essentially it's a buyer's agreement to tour the properties. And then you will have to step into another agreement for compensation once the buyer decides what to do.
I don't like to do any agreements that are more than, $8.99 a month for Netflix, or I'll do an agreement to buy something on Amazon or something like that. But I don't do any online agreements for a $500,000 or $600,000 investment or sale of my property. Do you? Do you really want to? I am perfectly okay doing things online. I think it's great. It's wonderful. I'll get Netflix, $12 a month. Automatic payment, whatever. If I'm selling my $700,000 house...
Would you do it online? That's the question.
If I'm selling my $700,000 house, do you think I'm going to... Hello, sir. Here's $700,000. If you can get a good deal, go ahead. Never see anyone, never talk to anyone, never meet anyone. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
But this is what a lot of prop tech companies are trying to fill in the gaps in.
But what they're missing, Dawood, is this is the biggest investment of people's life. AI is fantastic. Automation is fantastic, right? I'm even okay going to Carvana maybe and buying a car there, although a lot of those don't work out. They've been flooded and things. We're talking about your biggest investment for your family. Or selling it, you need that money, you need that windfall of cash to buy something else or invest in something else. I do not believe in automation in real estate. I just don't.
Listen, I couldn't agree with you more. But let's talk about this requirement for a buyer agreement to be able to work with them. Because there may be a possibility based on the decoupling.
Did he just give me a 1?
I don't know.
Okay. You
Based-
got to wave at me or something because I want to know. Because I'm so used to the time thing. I want to know.
and
Oh,
you
wow.
are disrupted the show once again.
I know.
And we
Sorry.
still have lots of time.
I'm sorry about that.
And back to me.
All right, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly the reason why I can't have the one and only Justin Clark on my show. Justin, back to me. What is the importance of a buyer agreement when you're working with a buyer, given in the light of what's happening right now with all of these changes?
So I think it's incredibly important because what a lot of people don't understand is in real estate, the owner of real estate, the people that we all aspire to be in real estate is the listing agent, right? You want to be the listing agent because quite honestly, they don't have to do a whole lot. All right. You got to put a little box on the door or whatever. It's weird that this story is not told more. So the listing agent has it super easy. It's the buyer's agent that works so hard. The buyer's agent's the one that has to either get in the car or go show 27 houses to someone.
97 million.
97 million houses to someone. And then that person's like, well, you know what, Dawood? This is my Tennessee accent. You know what, Dawood? I found someone on Realtor.com and I'm going to go direct through them because they said they'll give us a little discount if I go direct through them. And this is awful. Like as a real estate agent, a buyer's agent, this is your business. This is your time. I think it is perfectly okay to lock in an agreement with them. In fact, I think that you should try to anyway. And I think maybe the NAR settlement might actually help on that side of things for buyer's agents.
I think what's going to happen is just like what happened in 2008, just like what happened every change in our industry. We're not going to be able to understand or navigate. However, the market will always dictate what the protocol is going to be. The NAR, Florida Realtors, whatever the case may be, is going to give us a guideline on how things are going to work. And the truth of the matter is, if a seller wants to sell a house, whether you want to call it compensation, concession, whatever you want to call it, they're going to work with buyers in this market. Because the truth of the matter is, we have an affordability crisis going on right now. And more so than that, buyers need concessions in order to make their purchases happen. There's a ton of inventory in our market. And now is the time, if you're a buyer, in spite of how high the interest rates are, there's a lot more homes in our inventory. And buyers are definitely a lot more flexible to negotiate with you today than they ever have been before in the last few years.
We're about to start defrauding mortgage companies again. That's what's going to happen. We're going to use this money. When you have a big closing, right? They're like, oh, we'll give seller concessions. Now we got buyer agent concessions. It's going to end up being like, how do we get the mortgage companies to pay for all of this? That's what they're going to have to watch out for. Trust me, watch and see. I'm not saying I'm defrauding a mortgage company. I'm trying to say it's going to come down to how do we get lenders to pay for this? 1 minute. Thank you, Carlos. No, Carlos let me know this time. 1 minute. So I'm going to shut up.
I don't think it's possible to shut up.
No, it is possible.
No, it's not.
I just enjoy talking to you.
I love talking to you too.
About mortgage fraud?
About all of this stuff.
Oh.
Well, folks, time flies when you're diving deep into the minds of the remarkable Justin Clark. If you want to connect with me and have a real estate question, you know what to do. Visit my website at realsensenow.com. Justin Clark, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you? Just give me the website. I don't want a story.
Me?
Yes.
My law firm?
Or anything.
Google dawoodbedrosian.com. And we'll have pictures together. I'm sure we have pictures together on there somewhere, right? Buddy?
Try justinclark.com or something like that. What's your website?
YouHavePower.com.
That's what it is. YouHavePower.com, ladies and gentlemen.
I would just Google Dawood Bedrosian. That's what I would do.
Thank my host, Justin Clark. I mean, I'm the host, but I think he's taking over.
I'm not.
Guys, stay tuned because when we come back, the show is going to be even more exciting than ever before. It's your host, Dawood Bedrosian. Thank you for listening to Real Sense Now. And we're back, Real Sense Now, with your host, Dawood Bedrosian. I'm with the most disruptive guest I've ever had in years. Unfortunately, I started my broadcasting, real estate podcast career with this guy. I want to welcome the one and only Justin Clark.
I'm not saying anything. No, it's your show. I'm not trying to be disruptive. Go ahead.
So it's going to be a 2-hour monologue
Yes,
on my side?
we want to hear from you. Double.
Okay.
Hey, ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen.
That was the
Hey, everybody.
Your
Yeah.
trusted guide
Go ahead.
through the realms of
There you
intellect
go.
and
Yes.
intrigue. That's me.
Let's talk about your big words.
Yes,
Let's go. Keep
and
it going.
today we have a guest who's been making waves in the legal sphere and the silver screen on 3 of his other TV shows. I don't even know why you're a lawyer, bro. You have 3 incredible shows that I have so much fun watching and being a part of. You have Power, you have Real Estate, and Best of Central Florida, which I've been on 2 out of 3 because I really don't know anything about the legal world anyways.
So you and I, let's talk about this for a second. So do you think that you've reached out to me to hang out more lately, or have I reached out to you more to hang out? Because I do feel connected to you. I feel close to you. I feel like you're a very dear friend, but I haven't seen you in 6 months. Is it my fault? I think it's my fault. Whose fault is it?
I think it's your fault.
I do too. I agree with that.
Especially
Like,
when I show
call-
up in your girlfriend's phone as Justin's best friend.
It does, yes.
You know
In
what?
fact, it does.
I feel
I think it's
betrayed.
my fault.
No, I feel betrayed. I really do.
I'm not betraying. No. You're
Yes.
No, you're missing this.
Okay, tell me.
It's so the last year and a half, I had to like dive back in. So you've heard of all these people. Like, oh, we can't hire people.
Yeah.
Carlos probably was like, hey, we can't hire people around here. Restaurants,
Yeah.
bars,
Bars.
law firms, the same
yeah,
thing, man.
okay.
Like I never had any
So
turnover.
what are these people trying to do? Because after
That's a great question to
COVID,
me.
they got
We're trying
paid, and nobody wants to come back to work.
We're
But
trying to figure it out.
I don't think they still have that much COVID money left because I know I spent it all.
I don't think there's any COVID money left. And I think people are really starting to figure it out now because in 10, 15 years of running the law firm, I never had any turnover. Oh, same people the whole time. Then in a year or two, everyone left. And it was like, oh, wow, what happened here? I had to go in and do like jobs of a lot of people. I've been in court almost every day for a year, believe it or not.
And you don't like going to court, right? You
I mean, look, I think I'm
outside of court.
I think that I'm good in court. I don't think I have time to go to court. I have to run a business, you know? And so what were we talking about? I took over. I'm not stepping on your toes.
Okay.
Let me see your toes. You step on my toes, buddy.
I don't.
No,
I'm
seriously,
wearing
step
shoes.
on my toes.
I'm wearing shoes.
Okay. I am too.
Back to regular programming.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only real estate lawyer to everybody, basically, because when you talk to Justin, you have power, you have real estate, you have everything. So, Justin, what are you noticing trending in our real estate market right now?
I think the real estate market in Central Florida. Where is this? Is this a podcast or a radio show?
This is everything.
All right, this is everything.
Okay.
So
we are worldwide, international, Florida, all the way to the rest of the world.
Here's what's going on. So Florida, and especially Central Florida, I think, is going through an incredible rebirth. Almost like when you see the pictures from the 50s, and you see South Beach and all the people are moving to Florida and it's just discovering Florida. People are rediscovering Florida right now. So what you see nationally real estate wise is not what is going on in Florida. Indicative, great word. It's just not. Florida is different. Florida's having a huge rebirth, almost like overpopulating in some ways, and people are going to places even like Ocala and to cities you've never heard of, counties in Florida that you've never heard of.
And we have a lot of very interesting named counties and cities like Holiday and Christmas and God knows what other ones that we have here.
I'm incredibly bullish on this Florida real estate market right now. I really am. How do you feel about it?
You know, I think...
No, that doesn't sound good.
No, it sounds great. Listen.
I'm not trying to be positive. I'm trying to tell you how I feel.
I'm telling you the truth as well, too. Go ahead.
I think this market is strong, and I do not see a collapse. Do I see an incredible, like the last 2 years happening in the next 2 years? Absolutely not. I always look at the real estate market like this. All right. Are we going to go like this? Are we going to go like this? Or are we going to go like this?
By the way, like this and like this means like horizontal or like inclined towards a positive vertical.
Right. Sometimes I forget horizontal versus vertical too. This is horizontal, right? I'm doing a horizontal thing right now. Is the market going to go like this? Or is it going to go up? What would you call this?
Vertical.
But no, this is not vertical. This is vertical.
Okay.
This is somewhere between vertical and
a
horizontal.
positive trajectory towards the vertical.
What would you call this?
This is declined.
but it's not all the way down either. Like this is like boom, we're dead.
It's not boom bust.
I believe the market in Florida will be somewhere like this to this, barely going up. I do not see anything horrible happening here. I don't.
I would agree with you. I think the Florida market is really strong. I think there's a ton of people that in different parts of the world want to move here. I hate to say this, I'm a proud Canadian, but a lot of Canadians want to leave Canada ever since COVID, with the changes in the law, the opportunities. They have this new capital gains tax of 66% of everything over $250,000. You won't experience that here.
It was COVID was actually really fun because you got to see governments not looking like governments, but almost more like businesses and business models. So when you look at, okay, how did the United States run COVID? Or how did Canada run COVID? Or even states, it almost became like a business model. And Canada,
I swear to God, you
Canada
nailed
effed it up.
No, in a major way.
They screwed it up.
I think we and Texas were probably the pioneers in terms of the best business model
question
to
about
come
it.
out of. Because as a result of that, we had a thriving economy. Our businesses came back to life again. People started to move here. But it also started to cause this shift for more and more people from California, Chicago, New York to just start moving down. And we're still seeing the trend. Miami is one of the hottest markets. I think it's outpaced Bel Air, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
In terms of value of real estate in Coral Gables, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. So there's lots of people that want to move here. The luxury market has been thriving. But I think Florida will always be a safe haven for lots of people to move here, whether it's political, whether it's a way to move money out of a country, for example, in South America, to a stable economy like Florida, because it will always thrive and appreciate.
See, we will forget who bungled things. We will. We'll forget 10 years from now that Canada didn't do a great job with it. But what Canada can't get back is a lot of the people left and experienced something different during that time and kind of liked what they experienced different.
I don't know anybody experienced anything different that they actually liked, because everybody that I talk to is extremely unhappy and extremely thrilled when they come here. And I love that, by the way.
I'm not trying to step on toes.
No, step.
All right, so the thing, though, about Canada is Canadians are super freaking cool. I love Canadians,
Nicest
man.
people on the planet.
Oh, my God, I love them. So I spent a little time in Palm Coast, which is, I don't know if you know where Palm Coast is.
It has nothing to do with Canada, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it does,
Oh,
because
it does?
a lot of Canadian people during COVID were hanging out in my condo in Palm Coast. And, dude, I could hang out with them all night long.
In your condo?
Not in my condo.
In your condo complex. Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know if you were like taking in Canadian refugees
I would
during
have.
COVID.
I would have. Of course.
I mean, you took me in for a night or two.
We would like barbecue or grill, whatever you call it. That's a whole other debate. I just love the Canadian people, to be honest with you. I love the people from Canada. Their government can do whatever they wanted during COVID, but Canadian people are super cool to me.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Clark loves Canadian people. I guess that means you love me too, right?
I've always loved you.
I love you more.
It again says best friend.
It says best friend in your phone. Yeah. So what trends are you noticing in our real estate market? Where should people be investing? Should people be investing at this point in time? We talked about this affordability crisis on your show. We've talked about several other things. Is really now a good time? While Justin Clark chugs
I didn't
his
think about that. That's my way of buying
wine.
time. But no, okay. I do. I feel strongly about this, and I think there are two different answers. So when you talk about investing, you talk about the family who wants to buy their home, the home that their family's going to live in with their child, with their wife. That's one type of investing, right? Because you're going from renting to you're investing in your family, investing in real estate that way. The other type of investment is, okay, you're investing in real estate, buying other properties. Two separate things. I firmly believe right now that investing in real estate is a good way to make money if you're buying it for your family. If you're buying it for investment in real estate, like I have $1 million sitting here, what do I do with it? I think you have to be super careful. And I think you have to know what you're doing and talk to someone who knows what they're doing.
And you know what? I couldn't agree with you more, because I think I want to pull back the curtains on the reality of what's going on. I know during COVID, we saw incredible numbers when it came to occupancy in short-term vacation rentals. And unfortunately, based on recession, inflation, and a shift towards a little bit more of a conservative approach, I think more and more people have decided to, it doesn't matter where in the country, it doesn't mean Orlando, have decided to stay closer to home, not spend so much money on vacations. And as a result of that, we've seen a decline in occupancy in short-term vacation rentals. I still think that if the mouse can make it, so can you, because Orlando is not going anywhere.
I agree.
I think if you're a parent and you don't bring your kids to Disney, they're ultimately not going to be able to survive their child's trauma of being a terrible parent. So Florida, Orlando is here to stay. I think in the meantime, if you're looking to position yourself to be able to purchase a short-term vacation rental at an affordable price where you can negotiate with the seller, now is the time. I don't know if the numbers are going to work out based on how high the interest rates are, but you can always refinance at a later
Interest rates
date.
will go down. They're going to go down. I mean, keep your credit good and refinance when they go down. We're not gonna be here at 7% that much longer. I don't
know if Justin Clark is going to actually interrupt me right now, but time truly flies when you're in the presence of great friends, maybe best friends. I don't know. Let's bask in the knowledge gained by the grand finale of what our conversation was with Justin Clark. It's your host, Awood Bedrosian, and you're listening to Real Sense Now, reminding you to stay curious, stay ambitious, and of course, always keep your real estate goals in sight. Until next time, take care and keep reaching for the stars.